Right, once you've finished your and completed your website, what we're going to do is we're going to add some CSS to this website here to improve what it looks like. Now, if you have a look at the assignment here, what you're going to do is, first of all, is I want you to watch this YouTube video here, which explains the difference between...
Every web page on the internet uses HTML, CSS, and JavaScript.
Now, I'm not going to play the whole lot now, but I'd like you to listen to that. Hopefully, it will explain what JavaScript is, which we used in one of the earlier assignments. And CSS, it talks about it being the artist. And CSS shows us how to actually design and create a web page. Now, CSS, if you come back for the second year at QE, you will do a course on CSS, cascading style sheets. There is also here an online tutorial which goes through how to use cascading style sheets, and it's a really good tutorial. It's got lots of little try it yourself examples here where you can try things out and change the code and see what actually happens, and it's got some really good explanations of how CSS actually works. Now, if you're interested in that and you've got a bit of spare time, those tutorials are very well worth going through. However, for this particular assignment here, what we're focusing on two things here. We're focusing on a navigation bar and creating a customized navigation bar for our site, because Google Sites doesn't give us a chance to actually do that. If you look at this page here on navigation bars for you to actually read through, there's lots of stuff and information on navigation bars, and you can pick any of these examples to do a navigation bar for your particular site. The one that I'm going to pick, though, and you don't have to do the same one as me, you can pick any of the ones which are there, is I'm going to scroll to the bottom here and I'm going to try this one here, I think. So first things first, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to change the orientation of this site. So I've got my code at the top there, and what I've got the page that it will display like down about there. Okay. Now, the first thing here is that on my website, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create an extra page. I've called this extra page M3 CSS. So in addition to all the other 8 pages you've got, I've got a page there, M3 CSS. If I publish that website there, let's just publish that. And then I view the published site, what you will see is you'll see that each of the pages has a link. This one here is called, I can ignore the question mark and the thing at the end there. It's called M3 CSS. I'm going to copy that link. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my editor. Okay. And what I'm going to do, oh, that's one I did earlier. Let's find the right one. It's that one there. Instead of having this link to this about page, what I'm going to have my link to is my M3 CSS page. Now, the link that I copied from Google Sites there, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that into these 2 quote marks here, like so. What I'm also going to do is, because this is the page that I am going to be putting this navigation on, I want it to be an active link. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this class distinction here. I'm going to cut it using Control X, and I'm going to put it next to that A there. Let's try again. Try again. Sorry, I made a mess of that. So if I copy this here, Control C to copy, and I'm going to paste it into there. I can just delete that from there entirely. Okay, so now if I run this, what you'll see is the effect of that there. It's put an extra page on there, M3 CSS. It's going to link to my Google website, and also it's made it green because it is active. Now let's go back to my website and let's go to the home page. I'm going to copy the link for that home page, and it's everything up to the question mark. Oops. Let's try that again. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy that into where it says home. And that's going to be it's going to now link to my home page. Now I'm going to copy that code, and I'm going to copy it 7 times for the 7 other pages that I've actually got on my website. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I can get rid of that lot there because I don't need that anymore. Something there. But here, what I have is I have a game 1. I have a game 2. I have a game 3. I have a game 4. I have a game 5. Plus, I have a feedback page. And I have a links page. Now, to make sure this works, what I need to do is I need to have a look at the links, the URLs to this page. So the first one to game 1, the page is called game 1. Then game 2. The feedback is called feedback. Now, you can cut and paste these if you want to, or what you can do is you can just write them in, but you need to look and see what your links are actually called. So I've got game 2, I've got a game 3, I've got a game 4, I've got a game 5, game. Oh, now I've got a feedback page, and then I've got links. Now this is all HTML at the minute. Here, if I click on Run now, what you'll be able to see is you'll be able to see what my navigation bar now looks like. Okay. What I can also do with this is I can click on Save, and what that will do is it will save a copy of your script that you've done to this particular page here, and you're going to use that later on. So you can save it as you're going along. It's not quite like Google Docs where if it crashes, it will save it anyway. So you do need to click the save. Now that's the HTML, and that does all my links for my customized link page. Then what I do is I come to this part here, the styling. Now, if you read through the tutorials, it explains what all of these bits does, but the thing I'm going to particularly change is I'm going to look at the background colors, and I'm going to use the next link that I've got on this sheet here, which is to the HTML color picker. Now, HTML color picker, what you can do is you can pick a style for your set of colors that fits in with your website, and then you've got the hexadecimal codes for that particular color. So I'm going to go back to my web page. I'm going to pick this one here. So for the list items, what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the background color from, instead of being that color there, to this color here. Now you can pick any color you want. If you click on Run, you'll see the effect. Now actually I don't particularly like that color, it's a bit too light for me. So I'm going to go back to this color picker, and I'm going to pick a slightly different one. So if I go back to my try editor here and put this one here, oops. Oh, that's the colour. Click on run. You'll see the different colours that you've got here. This is the border colour, I think, down here. So if I go back to my colour picker, I think it's this one here I picked, and I pick a nice dark purple for that one there. This will change the coding here for the borders. So the borders have changed colour. I can change colours for the colour that it changes by changing this hover one for when it's active to be a different. Sorry, it's this one here which changes the active colour. You can have a little play around with that. I also want to change this one here. Sorry, this is the active one. This will be this green colour here. So let's have a look and see if I can change this one here. Let's pick that one there, for example. I think I've already used that one there, so let's use that one there. Nice dark one to go on here. And I say this is the active page. This one here is the colour that it changes when it goes on here. So let's change the active one on here. Now, how much of this navigation bar you change is up to you. You need a link to all of your, now it's 9 pages on your particular website here, but that should give you the links there. Okay, so if I click on run, you'll see the effect that has done. Now, if you click on save, that link there is one which I need to put on my website. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put my customized code. Now I've created a page earlier on with that, so it's a little bit quicker to do this. But there are 2 things I need to put on my web page. First of all, a title called Customized Navigation up here, and then a title which is Customized Code. Now here what I'm going to do is I'm just going to paste in my link to that particular page, and then it will take me back to my W3 Schools page, where if I click on run it, you'll see my navigation bar which I have actually created. Now the other thing I need to do is I then need to copy all of that code there for my navigation bar. Now to put it onto my website, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this. I'm going to double click, I'm going to click on the embed, I'm going to click on embed code, and if I do Control and V to paste that in, what you should see is that your navigation bar gets inserted into there. I'll just delete that one. Oh. I'll delete that one that I'd done earlier on. But here is your customized navigation bar that you have done. This one. With the code, and that's customized using CSS. And I say, don't pick the same colors as me, don't necessarily pick the same navigation bar as me. There's plenty of examples on there what to do. If I click publish, then I can publish my page. If I then view the published site, what you should find is that you've got a customized navigation bar. Now, ideally, you wouldn't be doing this on Google Sites and be writing all the page yourself, but it doesn't really matter. But there, if I click on Home, it takes me to my home page. If I click on Feedback, it should take you to my feedback page. And that is all you need to do for customizing your navigation.